You ever notice how life gets real quiet before something true shows up? It's not noise that breaks the silence, it's truth. And that truth shows up right when you're done just getting by and ready to actually live. When God pulls you away from a narcissist, it's not just another breakup. It's not just space. It's not someone simply leaving. No, it's a rescue, a spiritual intervention. You didn't lose them. God took you out of harm's way. That's a win you don't always recognize right away. At first, it won't feel like a miracle. It'll feel like heartbreak, confusion, maybe even like you failed. But what really happened is this. God stood between you and the damage that was about to take you under. That mess you thought was just life. That control you thought was love. That pain you thought you had to just live with. God said enough. He didn't remove that person to punish you. He removed them to start healing you. Because what's coming, it's peace, it's clarity. It's you learning what love actually feels like. And here's the part you won't expect. What's coming next is restoration. It's growth. It's the kind of transformation that doesn't come from effort. It comes from survival. The very person who thought they left you broken is going to have to witness the rise they tried to prevent. They thought they stopped you. But really, they set the stage for your comeback. This isn't your downfall. It's your beginning. See, when God pulls you out of something toxic, it never looks gentle. It rarely feels kind. It often feels like you were thrown into the wilderness. But that wilderness is where your soul finally breathes, where your identity starts to return, where your strength is born. At first, it feels like rejection. You feel abandoned, like something precious has been taken from you. But what you thought was precious was only familiar. And there's a big difference. Familiar doesn't mean safe. It doesn't mean loving. It just means known. And narcissists, they're masters at creating what looks like love but feels like fear. They draw you in with charm, with attention, with words that sound like devotion. But it's a setup, because behind that mask is emptiness. Behind those promises is control. And behind the control is a deep fear that if you ever saw the truth, you'd leave. God saw you trying, giving, hoping, pouring everything you had into someone who saw you as fuel, not as a person, not as a partner, as a source. And when God finally pulled you out, it wasn't sudden, it had been building. He was watching quietly, letting you learn. Until one day he said, "That's enough." Because what you were calling love was actually theft. They weren't giving to you. They were taking from you. Not just your time or your trust, but your peace, your identity, your light. God stepped in, not because you were weak, but because you were strong enough now to see, to finally feel the weight of what you had been carrying, and to be ready to put it down. That's why it ended. The ending wasn't failure, it was freedom. And I know, right now, maybe you're still confused. Maybe you still miss them. That's normal. You're not weak because you miss someone who hurt you. You're not broken because part of you still wonders if it could have worked. That's not shameful. It's human. But don't confuse missing someone with needing them. Don't confuse the ache of separation with the loss of love. Because real love never required you to lose yourself. Narcissists make you forget your voice, your needs, your intuition. You start second-guessing everything. You walk on eggshells. You try not to upset them. You try to love better, to explain more gently, to give a little more. But none of it changes anything. Because it was never about how much you gave. It was always about how much control they wanted. You didn't fail. You were set up to believe it was your fault. But God knows the truth. He saw what they said when no one was listening. He saw the manipulation behind the kindness. He saw the way they twisted your words and isolated you. And in his mercy, he didn't just whisper to you. He intervened. He cut the cord. And you might feel like something was stolen from you, but really something sacred was returned, yourself. God doesn't just take away, he restores, he renews, he rebuilds. And yes, it's a process. Healing is messy. Some days you'll cry over someone who never really cared. Some nights you'll miss the version of them that never existed. But every step forward is you choosing life again, choosing truth, choosing God over the illusion. You're not walking away from love, you're walking toward it. Because what's coming next won't make you doubt yourself. It won't make you feel small. It won't silence your voice. It will honor your heart. It will nurture your soul. And it will remind you that love was never supposed to hurt this much. The narcissist wanted to shrink you, control you, make you dependent. But God wants to grow you, free you, remind you of who you are. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not unworthy. You are a child of God, and he doesn't throw his children away. He rescues them. So no, you didn't lose them. You were saved from them. And soon you'll see why it had to happen this way. They didn't just drain you. They made you question yourself. Slowly, carefully, until you started doubting your own worth, until your confidence cracked, until your voice, once so steady, became shaky around them. And the wild part is, you didn't even see it happening. You were trying to keep peace, walking on eggshells, adjusting who you were just to keep them comfortable, just to avoid their silence, just to get back that little sliver of warmth they used to offer before the cold crept in. But here's the truth. They hoped you'd never find out. You were the gift the whole time. You were the calm in their storm, the compassion in their emptiness, the love they could never give back. You were the mirror they used to see themselves as powerful, because without your light, they didn't even know who they were. They saw your kindness from the start, your patience, your hope, your sincerity. And they didn't respect it. They needed it, because they were empty and you were full. And they knew if they could keep you close, they could feed off the goodness in you. They didn't love you. They lived off you. Your empathy became their battery. Your loyalty became their leash. And slowly you stopped recognizing yourself. Not because you changed, but because you were being chipped away day by day. But now God is flipping the story. Because what they stole, he's returning. What they broke, he's rebuilding. Every piece of you that got lost in that storm is coming back together. Stronger, wiser, clearer. And here's something they never expected. Your healing is your power now. You're learning how to trust your voice again, how to stand in a room without shrinking, how to love without losing yourself. And you're realizing that the love you gave them, that wasn't wasted. It was proof of who you are. Don't regret how deeply you loved. Regret nothing. You weren't foolish, you were faithful. You weren't weak, you were willing. You didn't lose, they just never deserved what you gave. God watched it all. The silent tears, the second chances, the hope you held on to, even when it hurt. And he's not letting that go unnoticed. This pain, it's being used. That heartbreak, it's not the end of the story. That wound, it's becoming wisdom. God is turning what they meant for harm into something sacred. And if you're wondering why you still feel broken some days, even now, remember, healing isn't a straight line. Some memories still sting. Some songs still hit too hard. Some moments still pull tears from places you thought had dried up. But every day, you're getting freer. Every step, you're getting stronger. You don't need closure from someone who was never honest to begin with. You don't need apologies that won't be sincere. What you need And what God is giving is healing that goes beyond what they could ever give. They made you think your love was a weakness, but now you're learning it was your strength. They called you too sensitive, but sensitivity was your superpower. They made you feel like your standards were the problem, but now you know your boundaries are holy. You are not hard to love. You were just loving someone who made it impossible. God had to remove them, not because you didn't try hard enough, but because you were dying while trying. So he stepped in. He closed the chapter. And it might still hurt. You might still have flashbacks. You might still reach for your phone in the quiet moments. That's okay. God didn't save you to send you back. He saved you because there's something ahead that doesn't require you to bleed to feel seen. There's love ahead that won't confuse you. Peace ahead that won't collapse under pressure. There's a version of you coming back that isn't afraid anymore. Because you've been to the bottom, you've cried in silence, you've begged God for clarity, and now you're walking out of that storm, not bitter, but blessed. Don't chase their validation. Don't replay their lies. Don't hold on to a version of them that only existed in your hopes. Let them go. Let the pain be a teacher, not a prison. You've already lived through the worst of it. Now it's time to live. God's not asking you to forget what happened. He's asking you to trust what's next. And what's next? Peace. Real peace. The kind that doesn't make you guess. The kind that doesn't manipulate. The kind that feels like home, not survival. It's coming. You didn't just survive a narcissist. You overcame spiritual warfare disguised as romance. That's not small. That's not casual. That's deliverance. And now that you're free, you're not going back. God is going to use your story. He's going to bring purpose from the pain. And one day, you'll look back and say, that nearly destroyed me, but it didn't. Because love isn't supposed to hurt like that. And now you know.
If you like our content, please consider subscribing. Click the like button and the bell icon if you want to know when we post a new video. Stay blessed, and thank you for watching.